It was the dead of winter in southern Poland. The night of January 28, 2006, was bitterly cold. Temperatures hovered well below freezing, and in the industrial city of Katowice, snow had been falling on and off for days. For most people, it was the kind of weather you expected in January. Inconvenient, maybe, but not unusual. Inside the Katowice International Fair exhibition hall, though, the weather outside barely registered. Warm lights glowed over the vast interior. Rows of stalls filled the hall with color and motion. This was the 56th National Pigeon Exhibition, one of the largest events of its kind in Europe, and hundreds of breeders, buyers, and visitors had gathered from across Poland, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. The hall itself was an imposing structure, a massive steel and concrete building completed in the early 2000s, covering over 10,000 square meters. Its roof was a flat, modern span of steel girders and insulated panels. On paper, it was engineered to withstand the region's snow loads. In reality, no one that night was thinking about engineering standards. They were thinking about pigeons, prize breeds, competition results, and trade deals. At 5 p.m., the exhibition closed to the general public, but many participants stayed inside, networking, preparing birds for the next day, or just relaxing. As evening wore on, snow continued to pile up outside. The flat roof above was quietly accumulating hundreds of tons of weight. A little after 5 p.m., a few attendees noticed something strange. Faint creaks echoing from above. The sound seemed to come and go, muffled under the hum of conversations and the distant cooing of pigeons. A few people joked about it. Old building noises. By 5:30, the sounds were louder. Several witnesses later recalled seeing small puffs of dust drifting down from joints in the steel framework. Others saw ceiling panels flexing slightly, seams widening where insulation met support beams. There were no alarms, no public announcement, and then, without warning, the lights flickered. Somewhere, metal groaned, a long, deep, resonant sound, the kind that makes instinct take over before your mind catches up. At approximately 5:55 p.m., part of the roof caved in. It started on one side of the hall, where snow load was heaviest. The failure was sudden. Steel trusses buckled, the roof panels tore away, and in seconds, an area the size of a tennis court gave way. Tons of snow and debris crashed onto the exhibition floor. The collapse spread like a zipper tearing open. Adjacent trusses failed in rapid succession, each one dumping more weight onto the one still holding. Within moments, roughly 1/3 of the entire roof was gone. Steel beams, concrete panels, snow, insulation, all of it fell into the crowd below. The impact was deafening. Dust and snow exploded into the air, plunging parts of the hall into darkness. Shouts turned into screams. People ran for the exits, slipping on snow and ice now covering the floor. For those caught beneath the fallen roof, it was chaos. Some were pinned under steel beams, others trapped in pockets between collapsed panels. A few survivors described the sudden cold, the freezing night air pouring in, and the eerie quiet that followed the initial roar, broken only by moans and the sound of shifting debris. Local firefighters received the first emergency call within minutes. The first units arrived at 6:05 p.m. and found a scene lit by flashing lights, choked with dust, and swarming with people trying to dig others out with bare hands. The temperature was -15 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow kept falling. Rescuers had to work under dangerous conditions. The remaining sections of roof were unstable, threatening to come down at any moment. They used cranes to lift steel trusses, chainsaws to cut through debris, and thermal cameras to search for survivors under the snow and wreckage. Some rescues were miraculous, voices calling from small air pockets, people pulled out after hours in the cold. But as the night dragged on, the scale of the tragedy became clear. By midnight, dozens of bodies had been recovered. Many victims died instantly from impact injuries. Others succumbed to hypothermia before rescuers could reach them. The youngest victim was a child of 7. The oldest, a man in his 70s. In total, 65 people were killed. More than 140 were injured, many with life-changing trauma, spinal injuries, crushed limbs, frostbite. It was Poland's worst building disaster in modern history. The international nature of the event meant the victims came from multiple countries. Belgian and Dutch pigeon breeders were among the dead. The catastrophe sent shockwaves through both the sporting world and the wider public. Almost immediately, questions arose. How could a modern exhibition hall fail so catastrophically? Early speculation focused on the snow load. In the days before the collapse, southern Poland had experienced heavy snowfall and the roof had not been cleared. Satellite imagery later confirmed significant accumulation, estimated at 100 to 150 kilograms per square meter, approaching or exceeding design limits. Structural engineers, however, uncovered deeper issues. The roof design relied on long-span steel trusses that, according to later court findings, were under strength for their intended load. Welds were found to be substandard, and some support joints showed evidence of previous deformation. Investigators also learned that warning signs had been ignored. In the days before the collapse, some workers reported roof leaks and sagging. On the day itself, as noises grew louder, no evacuation was ordered. There was no automated alarm or load sensor system to trigger one. The disaster led to multiple criminal charges. The building's designers, contractors, and fair organizers faced prosecution for negligence. In 2011, a court sentenced several individuals to prison terms ranging from 1 to 10 years. Civil suits dragged on for years, with victims' families seeking compensation. The event also prompted a nationwide review of public building safety in Poland. Dozens of other structures were found to have similar design flaws. In the years following, Poland implemented stricter building codes for snow load calculations and mandatory roof inspections during heavy snowfall. Public awareness campaigns urged facility managers to take weather warnings seriously. The Katowice collapse also became a case study in engineering courses worldwide, a grim reminder of how small lapses in design, construction, and maintenance can converge into disaster. The site of the exhibition hall was eventually cleared, but no new hall was built in its place. The memory of what happened there remains raw, especially for the tight-knit pigeon breeding community, which lost not only people, but entire bloodlines of birds in the wreckage. Thank you for listening to Road to Ruins. Subscribe for more true stories where systems fail and people pay the price.